Welcome to the Digital Dreaming Off the Gridiron podcast. It is a beautiful Victory Monday here in Northern California, and it is a Loser Monday over there in Chicago. I am joined with my co-host of the most, number 24, the most diehard Bears fan that there is, Cortez Branch Jr. Them pupils dilated. You get that look. All right, let's get right into it, bro. Oh, I'm just gonna pass over to you. Talk to me.
So what we saw on Sunday, from a football watcher's perspective, not just a fan's perspective, but a football watcher's perspective, was one coach realized that he's probably going to lose his job if he loses to the Chicago Bears,
Mm-hmm.
and Shanahan coached that game like it was the Super Bowl. That dude was throwing out all types of challenge flags in that game. That dude was throwing out challenge flags when even the refs were like, "Are you sure you want to challenge that? Are you sure?" He challenges it anyway. He wins it somehow. And I what I've seen is a colossal collapse of the Chicago Bears offensive line and their inability to protect Caleb Williams in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And the funniest thing about this is that I said this last year with Justin Fields, that the offensive line's inability to protect Justin Fields in any way, shape, form, or fashion was going to be the downfall of the Chicago Bears. You have a defense that is super tired. Caleb Williams thrown 7 passes, three-quarters through the first half, and you're like, okay, well, we got you to pass. Well, you can't pass if you can't have the ball because they went 3-and-out the first what 4 series,
Yeah.
5 series, 3-and-out. It's unexplainable and it's unacceptable. And I think that if if the Bears are going to go anywhere, they need to fix that offensive line. But at the same time, I'm starting to get tired of them making excuses for every little thing.
100%. And actually, I mean, if we want to get to even drill down further, the Niners had 310 yards that first half to the Bears, 4 yards offensively that first half. Niners ended the first half with a 24-0 lead. Bears are able to come back and make it a I want to say a 2 to 3 score game. I think at one point. But I mean, to your point, I mean, it looks like Caleb Williams is on pace he's already the third most sacked quarterback, rookie quarterback in NFL history. He's on
Exactly.
he's on pace to basically break that record. And I think the IQ just isn't there. I mean, when you talk about playing quarterback, and I talked about this at length. I talked to my little brother about it actually this morning. He was saying the way the Steelers did Fields is dirty. And you've been on this podcast, y'all. I mean, y'all can go back and check. My man Cortez has been on record saying the way that the Bears did Fields is dirty. And I mean, I hate to say it. I mean, actually, I don't hate to say it. I mean, fuck Caleb. That's just how I feel. I think Justin Fields would have taken this team to the playoffs. I mean,
With the offensive line that the Chicago Bears have, yeah, he probably would have. And that's because you've seen in many instances where Caleb's not quick enough to get through certain places where Justin would. And I don't think that Caleb's made enough dynamic plays to make you think that he was a better or an improvement over Justin Fields. And now, mind you, Caleb Williams is a rookie, and I get that, but at the same time, it's you wasted. I wouldn't say wasted a draft pick, but let's just call it what it is. Like as of right now, you wasted a draft pick on a quarterback when you had a franchise quarterback. You could have used a draft pick to build your offensive line to protect that franchise quarterback. As we saw in Pittsburgh, Justin Fields is doing just fine. He might not be the starter right now, but he started 6 games
yeah,
and he played fine. Like he had them in first place in their division, which is really what you wanted. And then Russell came in and took over, and he's been steamrolling ever since. And I don't mind the fact that Russell took over. I mean, I didn't like it when it happened because I felt like the Chicago situation all over again. But everyone knows that Russell's probably not going to stay in Pittsburgh unless he wants to. He had a 1 year deal for $1 million. They're either going to restructure his contract and give him the millions that he's going to want after playing well this season, taking them to the playoffs, hopefully for a deep playoff run if he's lucky. And that's what it's going to come down to. They have options there in Pittsburgh. Justin can't be mad about that. He's younger. He's a lot younger than Russell, and he's got the opportunity there. He's got the ability to learn from Russell. He didn't have that opportunity in Chicago, so I guarantee you that he comes out with new bags of tricks. And that's the way football works. Chicago, on the other hand, you guys got nothing.
yeah.
You guys got nothing. You have another losing season in a row. You have the inability to win a game on the road. You have the inability to execute. I think it's what the seventh or eighth game where the Bears have gotten to the end zone twice or less.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's been very, very concerning.
They can't score. That's a problem.
They can't score, and I mean, it's not just they can't score. I mean, they have Roma Dunze. They trade for Keenan Allen, or I guess Keenan signed free agency. I mean, they also have DJ Moore, and I mean, any competent QB. I mean, Roma Dunze. I mean, as much as I love Charvarius Ward, he looks cooked, man. Because Roma Dunze was bullying that boy, and he basically, I think, had 2 touchdowns on Ward, or maybe it was him and the other one. I forgot the other one's name. But I think a competent QB, not even an MVP QB, not an elite QB, a competent QB could take this team to the playoffs. Granted, I know that they're in a tough division, but like you said, the Bears have now lost 8 straight. The Niners were, and like you said, Kyle was coaching for his job. The Niners have the fortune of playing in such a bad division that they are still systematically and I guess mathematically not eliminated. Seattle has their next 2 games against Green Bay, Minnesota. Both are 9 and 10 win teams, right? Then obviously the Seattle closed the season at LA. LA
Right.
basically, they come into Thursday to play Niners. They could also lose some more games because they have to play Arizona. Arizona lost to Seattle. So Arizona, even though Niners are dead last, Arizona, I mean, this NFC West division is so wide open. Even though Seattle's won 4 straight, it can go either way. Now that the Niners, I mean, especially yesterday, Etor Gross Matos, had 3 sacks on Justin Fields. Sorry, not Justin Fields, on Caleb Williams. Etor Gross Matos, the free agent acquisition, he's 25, 26 years old. I mean, this boy is a stud, bro. I mean, that was the performance
Yeah.
we're looking for all year. But look at that, 3 sacks. Without Nick Bosa, that defensive line came up big. Obviously, it's a team that's won a lot. Context, right? The team's lost 8 straight, of course. So it doesn't mean it's end all be all, but it's a lot to build upon. And actually, let me actually look up this. There's a stat which I read, and let's talk about Brock Purdy, the man who's number 13. If everyone can see that on this camera, yes sir, I'm repping it.
Yep.
Number
Yep.
three,
Number
1-3, yes
13.
sir. He's right up there. He's in the center of my man cave. That's Purdy right there, in the sign ball from him. Let me read this real quick. This statistic, because I thought this was mind blowing. Brock Purdy yesterday. So Brock Purdy was 20 of 25, 80% completion for 325 yards and 2 touchdowns. And obviously, Juwan Jennings and George Kittle were those 2 touchdowns, and those boys are doing work over 100 yards apiece, if I'm not mistaken. But let me read this statistic to you because
George Kittle saved a fumble. Like, yeah, go ahead with the statistics.
let me read this. Purdy went 20 of 25 for 325 yards and 2 touchdowns, and with no interceptions, he finished the day with a passer rating of 145.4. It marked his 6th career game with a passer rating of 140 or higher, surpassing Ed Brown, who had 5 games of 140 passer rating from 1954 to 1956, and Franch Filchok, 5 games from 1939 to 1940, for the most such games by a quarterback in their first 3 seasons in NFL history. In addition, he became the first quarterback in league history to register 13 career games with a passer rating of 120 or higher in his first 3 seasons. In doing so, he surpassed Russell Wilson, who had 12 for the most games in such a span.
Exactly. See, I've been saying this. As soon as Brock Purdy realized that the only thing that he needed to do, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't just him, but his team, they decided that what you need to do is you need to wear them down. If you notice the Bears defense, they weren't terrible.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't terrible at all. It's just that there was a war of attrition. They were on the field the entire game.
Exactly.
They were on the field the entire game. The Bears offense didn't keep the Bears defense off the field, and Purdy realized they're tired. I'm gonna gas them. I'm gonna throw the ball down the field. I'm gonna throw the short passes. Then I'm gonna launch a long one. And you see the progression there. He threw a long pass, make everybody run. He throw 2 short passes. Then he launch another long one. He's launching them on 4th down. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't care, and there was nothing to lose at it because they were up so much. They knew after the first quarter, they realized that the game was over. And I really wish that, like, at any point there was hope for the Bears in that game, but there wasn't hope for the Bears after the first quarter. It was over.
100%. No, and again, The Niners were coming off being embarrassed by the Bills, being embarrassed by the Packers. If I'm not mistaken, their last two games, if I do the math correctly, they lost by a margin. Golly, let me read. It's yeah, okay. Niner faithful, yep, brace for it. We're gonna relive some painful memories. The last 2 weeks, the Niners lost by a margin of 73-20. I mean, those are two playoff teams. So, you can't just completely write off those losses. And with the Rams coming into town on Thursday night, we're going to talk about that in a bit, but the Niners needed this win, not only to stay competitive in the NFC West, but to your point, honestly, I think Kyle was coaching for his job. And honestly, Brock, let's talk about this. Number 1-3 was playing for his contract extension. Should he
Yeah,
get
yeah,
$60
he's
million
playing for his
dollars?
contract extension. He,
Should he
you
get
know,
should he yeah, go ahead.
we talked about him being Mr. Irrelevant last time, but what people don't understand is it's also like one of the smallest contracts that you'll ever get for the pro football.
Yeah.
And and that's coming from the draft. And I really think that the 49ers have gotten lucky with this one. Not just,
Super lucky.
skillful, but they
Super
got
lucky.
lucky because as we talked about, Mr. Irrelevant never really does anything in the league. And on top of it, you have a guy that he has a fire with him too. Like Brock's not just one of those guys that's just going to go out there and play football. He's going to go out there and show you his personality. He's going to play the game to the best of his ability. He's going to be a leader on the field, and he's developed into the type of player that you want to keep. And we're going to see what happens with that. I think the free agent market is going to be insane this next time around. But I also, because think about it, there's a lot of quarterbacks in the free agent market, so you don't necessarily need the draft one in the draft.
Right.
There are teams that will draft a new quarterback because there's like 3 or 4 guys you can't let go of.
Mm-hmm.
Quinn Ewers is going to get drafted. Shador is going to get drafted. There's other guys too, but those are kind of the guys that stand out like immediately. And there's a bunch of running backs that are going to get drafted because the running back is back in football, just like I said it would be. You can't. People found out you can't play football without the running back. Sorry, guys. I thought that you guys knew this in the 60s, 70s, and 80s that you can't play football without the running back. But the game is much more difficult without the running back. The game puts a lot more wear and tear on the quarterbacks without the running back. And I think that teams around the league are starting to realize that. And the funniest thing about this is I think San Francisco actually led that charge.
Absolutely, they did. Absolutely, they did. I mean, when you talk about it, San Francisco with their dynamic, and let's talk about the running back yesterday, Isaac Guerrero. Let's talk about Patrick Taylor Jr. All right.
Don't forget about my man's Deebo Samuels.
Deebo, yeah. He came back. Deebo's been kind of off this year, though, bro. This is not a Deebo season.
Not his best. It's not his best year.
Exactly. Deebo will tell you this is not his best season. So Deebo definitely, he had some moments here and there, but it's just the wheels aren't there. He's shot. This is his sixth, seventh year. Obviously it was 6 years, so 7th year, 6th year. He's been going at 1,000 miles an hour, so it is what it is.
He was doing what C-Mac was doing before C-Mac got there.
Yeah, and that's exactly the point. So kind of back to that point where we're just saying Patrick Taylor Jr., Isaac Guerrero. What was it? A pair of TDs, right? A piece. Isaac Guerrero. Here's the thing: Jordan Mason went out.
What did he have a pair of?
What was that?
What did he have a pair of?
TDs, tutties.
Okay. Everybody likes a pair of TDs, I like the long ones, the short 1 yard ones. I like.
I feel like there's a mixed, distribution of how many. But no, the point is, people were talking about Jordan Mason being out. People were talking about Christian McCaffrey being out. The question was, who's going to step up? This proves, Kyle, like to your point about running backs and San Francisco establishing the blueprint, Kyle has proven he can take any running back off the street. No disrespect, my man over here. He could take 2-4 right there from Chicago off the street, stand on his ass, do this podcast with me, bring him to San Francisco, bring him to Levi's, and basically make my guy 2-4 look like a Pro Bowl caliber running back. Not saying that you ain't, but I'm just saying that Kyle Shanahan's scheme
at 37, I don't know. Yeah. But I guarantee you. So I've said this before about certain offenses. Mm-hmm. For example, the Dallas Cowboys in the mid 90s, their offensive line would have made anybody a Hall of Famer.
100%.
And
And
that's
people,
like I'm not dissing Emmitt Smith. I'm just saying
right.
you had it a lot easier than everybody else did, bro.
Perfect example. Put Barry Sanders behind that offensive line. Imagine the results.
I think Barry Sanders behind the offensive line, he has a much longer career.
I
Um,
100%
and
agree.
I
Barry's,
also think that he would have broke certain records that Emmett couldn't break. And like I said, this is not a shot at Emmitt Smith because I do think Emmitt Smith was great. I watched him play just like you did,
yeah.
but but you can't discount the fact that he had the offensive line in football.
I mean, that's exactly the point. I mean, like, us being kids late, being born late 80s, early 90s, I was born at the start of the 90s, literally. And so, I mean, that was the dominating for the first half of that decade, Cowboys
Wait,
Niners.
hold on, really quick. This is completely unrelated, but I just realized this. How am I growing a beard and you chop yours off?
I decided to get my haircuts because I want everyone to see how much weight I lost. Down to 164, 163 and a half. I'm rounding up, but I just want everyone to see, this neck fat is gone.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I like
Yeah, I
that.
appreciate you, baby. No, I mean this
I
shirt,
like
by the
that.
way, y'all. I got this shirt actually at the before Super Bowls. That's why you see this, right? Back in February. This is a large. You see how much weight I've lost. I've lost 30 pounds since February. This is how much weight I've lost. This is how the shirt actually. This is how big it is. Is this? Let me actually roll down the sleeve so everyone can understand. This is how big this shirt actually is. It is like a blanket.
Oh, yeah, he's like, I've downsized.
I downsized quite a
And
bit.
dude, that's like it's crazy because that's how I feel in my largest now.
Uh huh.
Because I got this when I was literally like 35 pounds heavier,
Yeah.
and so it fit tight. And now I'm like, this doesn't fit tight anymore. I wear this to sleep now? You know,
Exactly, bro.
like I got off of work and I came back and I'm like, okay, I got a little bit of time to work out. So I didn't have time to go to the gym because of how long it took me.
Same.
And I was like, I got a little bit of time to work out, and let me just toss something on before I go in there. And I was
Yeah.
like, I'll put this on, but like it's big now. I'm flowing. You know what I mean? I know, so I know how you feel. I know how you
Yes,
feel.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, I appreciate that, baby. No, to your point. I have the same routine. I mean, like I actually wake up very early throughout the day. I mean, you saw me text. I text this man at like 6 his time. I'm up there just 4 my time, and he's probably still like waking up. So I apologize for that. But anyways, no. I mean, for me, like I don't have time to go to the gym sometimes. Because of work. Being up early, being on East Coast hours, right? And, that kind of being 3 hours ahead here. So basically, with that, obviously, like to your point, bro, I basically just do
Hmm.
my sprints, downstairs or outside, depending on the weather. Then I basically just I hit the weights in my garage. I have weights in my garage. I hit it in my garage, and I do pull-ups in my garage. I mean, I have a membership. Like I have a membership to go to a gym, but I just don't have time. So if I don't have time, I just do my weights here. And honestly, for anyone of you trying to lose weight, 80% of it is diet. Actually, no, 85% of it is diet, literally. Meaning you can sit on your ass all day. I mean, I hate saying this, being a former athlete myself, but you can sit on your ass all day and do absolutely jack shit as long as you're eating right and you're reducing your calories. You'll lose the weight. You'll see results. You just gotta be patient. But ultimately, though, I mean, to the point, right? I'm very thankful for this new milestone. And, obviously some of you on LinkedIn, y'all definitely give me, my flowers. I appreciate that. If I was on Instagram, I know some of you will give me more flowers, but hey, man, appreciate it. All blessings, all love. Now back to the Niners, back to Brock Purdy. My man Cortez 2-4. How much money should the Niners pay Brock Purdy next year? Because this has been the topic of debate for all of these different
I
podcasters.
think they wait until after the playoffs
Mm-hmm.
and see what happens there. And but that doesn't change the fact that I think that they should keep him. I think that a deep playoff run, and okay, people are going to be really mad that I say this, but they don't understand football numbers. They
Mm-hmm.
don't understand major sports numbers.
Mm-hmm.
A a conference final game is going to get Brock Purdy an extra $30 million on his contract.
100%.
So he needs to make it to the conference championship game.
Let's say he does it, which is very possible because of how much better the NFC is this year than last year, and how much poorer the Niners have played. And all the injuries that they've run into. Let's say that the Niners don't make the postseason. Let's say it's some other team out of the NFC West, and the Niners are basically sitting on the couch come January. What how does that change the Niners' perception on how much they should pay Brock Purdy?
Well, I think that if they pay him the way that I would pay him is I wouldn't give him any less than 125. I give him
125.
125 for 7 years.
Yeah, 125 for 7 years. But I think now the QB market has been reset to where the bar is so high where I don't think you can even sign like, a half decent QB for anything less than $40 million. And that number has been like around 60. David Lombardi, long-term reporters of the Niners, says 60. A lot of people are debating that if they pay him, it's going to ruin the team because of so many players they're going to have to let go of, right? Because of how much cap space it's going to take. If it's me, I actually want to put myself in Brock Purdy's shoes. I've been a consummate pro. To your point, how you started out this episode, right? Brock has been
Yeah.
making less than market rate. He's been making less than $1 million every single year for the past 3 years, right? He's
Yep.
been to an NFC Championship. He's been to a Super Bowl. He had almost
Yep.
a Pro Bowl season that Super Bowl year. No, he not almost. He had a Pro Bowl season that Super Bowl year. He almost had an All-Pro MVP season that same year. He said he led the league in passer rating. Okay, Brock has shown you that he can command and lead offenses and win. In the postseason. That's hard to replicate because you don't know. The draft is a crapshoot. You can have the best prospect, but that doesn't mean that he's going to ultimately pan out. How many first-round QB draft picks have not panned out this year? You and I talked about this at length a few weeks ago, or I guess a month ago. However
So
many
you're
months ago we
talking
talked
about
about
how
it.
many first round quarterback draft picks are sitting on the bench while Brock Purdy is the very last person picked in the draft,
And from
and
that
he is
same,
taking this team to Super Bowls.
I mean, come on now, right? So Matt Mayoko said 50 million. I hope Brock looks inside himself.
50 million per year.
Yes.
You can't give me anything less than you can't give me anything less. Also, this is my number. If we're going to be today's numbers and not what they should get, he's going to get at least, I'd say at least 225 for 5 years.
Yeah, that's realistic. That's realistic. And unfortunately, that's going to cause downstream impacts because of all the other Pro Bowl talented players whose contracts will either have to be
Well,
restructured
you
or
can't. You're going to restructure C-Mac because he's injury prone. I
correct.
said this when you guys got him. If you
But what
remember, I
about
said I'm glad that you got C-Mac, but how long is he going to hold up for?
Debo?
Debo's not staying in San Francisco.
There you go. See, so Debo is going to have to go. Trent's going to be
Well, you
37.
have a choice. You're not going to get rid of IU because he's a deeper threat than Debo is.
Oh, absolutely. No, you don't get rid of CMAC at all. But I'm just saying, well, what you're saying, which is what I agree with, someone's going to have to go. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean,
It'll probably be Debo, and unless Kittle takes a smaller contract, it'll be Kittle too.
No. Kittle can't leave. We need Kittle.
I think he'll take a smaller contract,
I think he will too.
but
Yeah. Kittle
he'll take
has
a smaller
taken
contract.
Kittle reworks his contract every single year. Kittle is like a Niner for life. I love George Kittle. He's
Yeah,
obviously
so he'll be there.
he's the
But you're
greatest
not
tight end
keeping.
in 49ers history. He's third all time in receiving yards, receptions. I mean, George Kittle is that guy. I mean, let's just be.
I can see Debo going to like 5 or 6 different teams. I can see Debo going to the Ravens. I can see Debo going to the Chargers. I can see Debo going to Las Vegas. I can see Debo going. No, I don't see him in Jacksonville. Um, I see Debo in a big market. In all honesty, there's a very high possibility that Jerry Jones signs Debo.
That's actually the funny. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the realistic possibility of that because it is very realistic. Because the
Yeah,
fact
Jerry
that
Jones will sign Debo.
Jerry Jones signed Trey Lance, and Trey Lance is riding the pine. Like he hasn't even seen the field. Like Cooper Rush has seen the field. Trey Lance is just riding that pine, and Jerry Jones loves Trey Lance. Like he has an obsession with these, hand-me-down players. I think Jerry Jones secretly admires Kyle because of how much success he's had. And Jerry, like you said about that early 90s, Jerry still has those early 90 matchups between the Niners in his brain. So, I wouldn't mind Debo going to Dallas. I mean, Debo wouldn't do that well in Dallas. But I mean, I forgot one detail though. Debo is still under
Does
contract for
anybody do
one.
well in Dallas?
He's only he can't
anymore.
he can't
Does
be
anybody
so.
do well in Dallas anymore?
Yeah, he
Dallas don't even do well in Dallas.
my man. Oh, love it, love it. No, I was gonna
Yeah,
say this.
I
Go ahead.
will. I never hate on any team in football except the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. I just want to say
For real,
this.
like you ever heard me hate on any other team
No, of course not.
except the Dallas Cowboys?
The sorry ass
How
Cowboys.
about them
How about them Cowboys? Oh my god.
on that Brokeback Mountain?
What I was gonna say about Debo is this. Debo is effective as being a deep receiving threat. He cannot be the wide back anymore. Those days are done. I'm sorry. Those days are done. He cannot be the guy who bounces off of 3 to 4 to 5 defenders, breaks off a run, in the flat, and just goes off for 50 or 60. Those days are done. He's 28 years
Yeah,
old. He'll be 29 next year.
it hurts, guys.
29 next month, actually. I'm sorry, 29 next month. His Achilles, his hammies, all the injuries. Debo is he's not the same Debo anymore. I hate to say it, but those days are done. Debo can most certainly be effective out as a receiving threat for the Niners. He has to kind of change his game up a bit, just be a receiving threat. Debo, however, cannot be a wide back anymore, which is crazy to say because Debo to me was never really a deep receiving threat, and he played terribly in the Super Bowl when Trent McDuffie was clamping him up. But like this year, he's been getting wide open.
Trent McDuffie put him in that McDuffel bag.
Yeah, I put in that McDuffel bag. Oh my god! And I can't do that for McDuffie because I'm rocking my red and gold until I'm dead and gold. But I mean, geez, bro, that was oof. I had a front row seat to that. Debo to the end zone, McDuffie like right there, and then McDuffie looked around. Nope. Oh god, that was tough. That was tough.
I wish other teams' front offices took note on what you do when you have adversity.
Mm-hmm.
And so as you stated before, the Bears didn't have a shot at the playoffs anyway because their division is ridiculous.
Right.
Now at the beginning of the season, you thought that there might be a possibility before the season started, and then like maybe even like after game like 2, you thought there might have been a possibility or game 3, but the fact of the matter is they're terrible and their division's not. Like everybody else has got like 2-3 losses, whereas the Bears have got like everyone else's losses, and then they still have to play the rest of the division. The 49ers, on the other hand, they have a shot.
Yeah.
I mean, all they really got to do is win out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The 49ers have a shot. They have a really legitimate shot. And
the way they're playing right now, they could probably do it too.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that they're able to dominate without Nick Bosa, without Trent Williams.
No Trent Williams, no C-Mac, no Ayuk, no Moore, no Mason, no who I said Ayuk already. It's one other person I'm missing.
Bosa, no Bosa.
Oh, and they lost their starting right tackle, and their backup right tackle.
Yes,
like they're playing with third string right tackle, and he's still putting up over 300 yards.
And exactly the point. I mean, I just really think, and Jalen Moore's done a great job. Spencer Burford's done a great job. Feliciano's been out. Trent's been out. You know what I mean? So with the point that you just made, with the point that Niners need to turn on that on switch now, and it looks like they are.
Yeah,
it looks like they are. Now let's kind of talk about what that on switch gonna, how much runway they have, and what those scenarios look like. Because now we're going to preview Thursday Night Football. The Los Angeles Rams just played the Buffalo Bills in one of the most spectacular shootouts in NFL history.
44 highest point total of the season.
What was that?
Highest point total of the season.
Yes, it was 86 points. Josh Allen had 6 touchdowns. The first player in NFL history to have 3 passing and 3 rushing touchdowns. Tom Brady, let me ask you this, bro. What do you think about Tom Brady on commentary? Because, bro, what he said, that line he dropped about Josh Allen rushing for that touchdown and then burning a timeout instead of Josh Allen throwing it and conserving 3 timeouts to force the Rams, because then they have to do the onside kick, which is a low percentage kick. Brady saw it all the way through. Brady called it all the way through. That's why, in my opinion, he's the GOAT. I mean, not my opinion, that's in everyone's opinion. But, I mean, that's why he is the GOAT, and that's why his commentary is needed, because...
I can't complain about Tom Brady.
Yes, sir.
I like some Tom Brady.
Gotta love me some Tommy.
Let me it's just
Hey, let me turn the lights on so we can get some gold in here. My boy flexing. Give me 1 second, folks.
never miss a chance. I never miss a chance. I never
Okay,
missed that chance. I never missed that chance.
you don't have to.
I gotta say that the Tom Brady on commentary is like I knew he was gonna get better and get over the butterflies in the first couple of weeks where he wasn't really that good.
Mm-hmm.
But lately, I've enjoyed listening to Tom Brady on color commentary. I've loved it. I've loved his anecdotes, his ability to just talk about how football is from a football player's perspective. The stories and the jokes that he tells, and like to be honest, like I know that like it's a job, but we're seeing more of Tom Brady in that booth talking about life as a football player than we have in years.
And it's incredible because I mean, you don't really consider all these things.
No,
I
there's a
mean,
lot that goes into it. Like everyone thinks that football players are all dumb. Don't get me wrong, there a lot of them are, but for the most part, like the skill position guys, they're really not stupid.
no, absolutely not. And I was just
The
gonna
game
say
is
to your
chess, it's not checkers.
100%. No, I was gonna say to your point. I mean, I mean, like to have that inside look. I mean, and here's another thing to consider because we talk about the Niners and their injuries. Fred Warner has been playing the last 6 weeks with a fractured ankle. Like, I mean, these guys are gladiators, bro. I mean, you played, I played, right? Um, but especially at the NFL, I mean, it's just you have to just decide to live with pain or to live with pain. It's very similar to
I
WWE.
mean, yeah. So there's a funny thing that people have been saying that like one of the reasons why Luger won't go into the Hall of Fame is because he doesn't want to be seen in the wheelchair on stage in a WWE ring. And I get it. He wants people to remember that big, larger than life guy.
Mm-hmm.
But while you're in the middle of it, you might have a slip disc, you might have a torn this, you might have a stress fracture, you might have all of these things. You might have two broken fingers. Are you really going to tell someone so you don't get to play in the Super Bowl?
I mean, exactly. I mean, I think I mean, Lex Luger played in the NFL too. He was a defensive tackle,
Yes, he did.
and he played in the '80s,
Yes, he did.
like with
He
Steve
had
McMichael and them boys. I mean,
look
Steve
at all of them.
McMichael.
Look at all of them.
I mean, and you know
Like I said, I always feel so bad for Mongo. I know Mongo.
that's what
That's like, yeah, I always feel bad for Mongo because like I can't visit him. You know what I'm saying? Like, his no one can really if you unless you're like a celebrity or a family member, you're not visiting Mongo. Mongo's not visiting Mongo. He's in the same spot that he's going to be in, and his degenerative disease, ALS, is it's sad to watch it happen, and a lot of it has to do with your nervous system, and everybody knows what happens with your nervous system when it comes to these sports. And I've done my best to play heads up football the way that has been designed for safety, and a lot of people don't like that. I'm not saying that I don't hit people. I'm a nasty hitter, but the thing is, I have to protect myself, and that's one of the things that a lot of players don't know how to do. Is, for example, Tua, bro, why are you not retiring? Your brain is telling you that you need to retire. There's other things to do in life other than do this. And I understand that you want to be able to do your passion and live your passion, but your body's telling you can't do it anymore. And shame on the Miami Dolphins for allowing it to continue. But what other choice do they have? They invested, $200 million into a guy that is essentially, a walk-in. You remember those jelly squish balls where they're like it's solid in the middle and there's like a whole bunch of jelly around it. That's what's going on inside of his head. You know what I'm saying? And it's cool, man. They're gonna dissect you when this is over.
honestly, I mean, that's how it's going to be. Ben Omalu. I mean, I talked to my buddy about Concussion, the movie. I mean, they've really made the game a little bit softer. Not a little bit. They made the game a lot a bit softer. It's not the same NFL as it used to be in the '80s and '90s,
Oh, the game's a lot of software.
but obviously, like player safety and everything. I get it, but to your point, I mean, the Dolphins paid him $200 million, and since he came back, they've been killing it. And so, I mean, but I mean, he should find something else to do. I mean, you talked about it when he had that concussion back in week 3 against the Bills when he dove headfirst into the defender, which didn't make any sense. Um, I don't know, man. I think these guys. I mean, the reason I was bringing up the injuries is because these guys they're their own worst enemies, and if someone doesn't protect them from themselves, who will? You know. And so, I mean, anyways, that's
I mean, it's a personal choice, in my opinion. But
I
at the
think it
same
is.
time,
Yeah,
like it's a personal choice, and I think that's all the general public won't understand. It's a personal choice. I think for most of us, the personal choice that we would make would be to stop doing it. I think for someone like Tua, there's no quit in him. He's doing this not just for himself at this point. It's to take care of his entire family forever. And even one $200 million contract will take care of your family forever if your family's kind of smart and not like selfish.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And you could do a lot of things with that $200 million. Not to mention all of the research they're going to do for you in this offseason. Because I guarantee you they're going to have a lot of research for Tua. He probably wears a different style of helmet next year. On top of it, you're going to have the ability to maybe make it to a Super Bowl. You know, the season's not over yet, and a lot of the guys who are in the playoff hunt still think they can make it. And and it's any given Sunday is a real thing. We know that. Look what happened to Josh Allen and the Bills this weekend. Was it an excellent game? Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was an excellent game, but nobody thought that he was going to go down like that, especially not to the Rams. And I think these guys are coming back and proving that hey, we're football players and you can lose today.
let's talk about Thursday. You talk about the Rams, you talk about the Bills. The Rams come to town to take on the Niners. What are you looking forward to? And I mean, because you and I have been calling Thursday Night Football trash night football, which it
Well,
has been.
A Rams Niners Thursday night football game should be good.
Let
A
me tell you,
Rams
let me give you
Niners
my
game.
history before we kind of get into this, because the first Thursday Night Football game I went to was Rams Niners 2017. Sorry, Niners Cardinals 2016, and then Rams Niners 2017. Rams Niners 2017 final score was 41-39 overtime. Rams won the highest point
Yeah.
total ever in Thursday Night Football history, 80 points. We just saw the highest scoring total, in this year for the Rams. The Niners just put 38 points on the Bears, so they've proven that they're competent and capable enough to kind of hang with the best. Not the best, but hang with teams
Well, I
offensively.
mean, the Bears had the best red zone defense of the
They did, yes.
entire
Thank you for bringing
NFL,
that
so
up.
they can hang with the best. And there's you can't take a shot at the Bears defense because the Bears offense is horrible. You can't.
Exactly.
What you can do is you can say that this game is going to probably be another shootout because both these teams have found their stride and what works for them. And so Los Angeles and San Francisco, which is an in-state battle, they're gonna have their faction warfare. It's gonna be red versus blue as it always is there, and it's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a great game. I think it's probably the best Thursday night game we've had all year. I'm probably gonna watch the entire game. I don't normally watch the entire Thursday night game because it's Thursday night trash football usually. But this late in the season, they're playing for something. The guys that are hurt are hurt. You know who they are. And the scheme, the way that you want to play this game is going to be like that. I think it's going to be a very hard hitting, very fast paced game. We're probably going to see a ton of offense on both sides, and not because either team has the inability to stop each other, but because both offenses score quickly. They're not slow prodding offenses. And I think that's something that the Bears don't have as an identity as far as what their offense is. But San Francisco and in Los Angeles, they both have the ability to hit you hard and often. So like we said before, Brock's gonna come out launching passes because one, he feels confident to do so. His arm's stronger than it was a couple of weeks ago. Obviously we saw that. And the same thing that goes for Los Angeles. Los Angeles got their receivers back. And when the receivers got back, they knew they could throw that ball down the field.
100%. No, I totally agree with you. Niners are getting healthy, I think. Depends if Nick is going to play. Bosa's had a good year, but I mean, Trent's been on one leg. I think if the Niners can come out, like you said, and play, just wire to wire, come out with sense of urgency like they did on Sunday, then yeah, the Niners and can come out of this with a win. Now, that's not to say the Rams can't do the same exact thing because they absolutely can, as we saw on Sunday, and we've seen it many times this year. So I'm very interested to see how the Niners can stop that passing attack with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. Rams are down to the third running back, so if they can find a way to neutralize those wide receivers, which I don't know how they can do it, but if they can find a way to do it, then they're in business. So
Yeah, they will be.
yeah. So I mean,
I
when
think
they
they're gonna have a good game.
yeah when they played the first time, it was a very close game. Niners were leading, and then they ended up losing in the end by 10 points, which was like, oh my god, they fucking lost. How did they lose that game, right? And so
Yeah, I
now,
mean
pretty much,
that's what a bogus interception will do for you, and the and then poor clock management on Shanahan's part. That's how you get down 10 with 5 minutes left.
exactly. No, I mean you're up 10, and then you lose by 3. Come on, man. You don't give
You
up
know,
13
like
points in 5 minutes. Now, regardless of that, this is a time for redemption. Niners need to come out with a sense of urgency if they want to win this game and if they want to make a playoff push. If they
they
want to
got to
get
do
the
what they
first,
did on Sunday. They got to score in the first on the first drive. You
that's
have
how
to.
they have to come out
You
on
can't come away
Thursday.
with nothing on the first drive. You can't come out with nothing on the first drive. You have to
No,
get something.
exactly. You have to come out with something. So let's see what happens. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I'm just going to call my prediction right now. I got Niners 27-24.
You take the Niners 35-32.
Ooh, I like that shootout. I want Brock Purdy to throw 4 or 5 touchdowns because he needs to up that TD
Yeah,
total
I think both quarterbacks are either over or near 300 yards in this game. And where are they playing at?
in San Francisco. Where else?
Oh yeah, both quarterbacks going to be over 300 yards or close to it. It's gonna be a shootout, and this is no disrespect against the defenses, but I talked about how you wear out a defense, and both of these offenses know how to wear defenses out. It's gonna be up to the offense to win this game.
Let's pivot over real quick. Let's talk about one more kind of intriguing storyline in the NFL before we get over to wrestling. Kansas City Chiefs won last night, 1917, on a doink, which kind of brought back memories of the double doink with Cody Parkey 6 years ago in the wild card round for the Bears. The Bills are now behind the Chiefs. The Chiefs are now 12-1. Are the Chiefs the best team in the NFL?
They're the worst lucky team in football. That's not even a question for me. Like they're not the Chiefs are nowhere near as good as what everyone thinks they are.
Right.
They're also struggling to score. Their defense is holding them in games, and they keep winning on field goals and lucky field goals at that.
Right.
I don't know how else to say it. Like they're going to get smashed. That playoff game after that first bye week, because they're going to be outside the wild card. But unless they're sandbagging and just doing enough to win the game, they're going to get destroyed in that first game that in the playoffs. They don't make it past there.
100%.
They don't look like a Super Bowl contender right now.
I mean, their defense looks great, but their offense looks terrible. So, I
Yeah.
mean, Patrick
I mean,
Mahomes.
we're talking about 16 points here, 14 points here, 13 points there. Like, dude, that's not Super Bowl winning.
Yeah. I mean,
No.
essentially, unfortunately, though, this is they've done it so many times. I agree. But yeah, also agree that, they need to do more, especially in the postseason. But we did see them turn up in the postseason last year. So they had a terrible year last year, regular season wise, and then they were able to still turn it up in the postseason. I still know how they did it, but they did it. This year though, I mean, Rex Ryan says he still picks the Bills over the Chiefs. Um, I could see that happening. I personally think I want, and this is what I hope for. You might not like this, but I really want the Detroit Lions to win the NFC, and I want them to win the Super Bowl.
No, I mean, I want the Detroit Lions to win it.
Yeah,
And I would like to see some other teams give me reasons why they should win. But right now, I think that the most deserving team to win the Super Bowl is the Detroit Lions.
100%, 100%.
Say,
Jared,
the Chiefs aren't deserving of even making it to the Super Bowl right now. And I know that people are going to get mad at me for saying that, but they had a favorable schedule. Two, they're not playing to the level that you need to see the Super Bowl champion play at. And I think Detroit is. Let's
Yeah,
hope they don't burn out along the way.
100%. Let's go Lions. All right, let's pivot over to WWE. SmackDown was a hit. Raw is coming on tonight, but SmackDown. So, I mean, let's just kind of talk to it. Cody comes out to open up the show, interrupted by Chad Gable, American Made, now drafted on SmackDown. Then they had that's the main event. What was your thoughts on
You know
that?
what's funny? Didn't I call Chad in his group going over to SmackDown?
Yes, you did.
I think that he's been put into once again, we got to see he's getting the Kurt Angle treatment. I just wish that Kurt would come back and bless him with the song. Because the American Made's theme is trash.
It is God.
Like it's supposed to be kind of like Kurt's, but it's not good.
It's terrible. Like, what's the difference between American Made's theme and Alpha Academy's theme?
I think they added like some drums
It's the
to
same theme.
American Made's.
It's literally the same theme. Like it was evident, and to the point, right? I mean, but let's talk about Chad, bro. Let's talk about that match. That was a good match. I like that match, baby. That was great promo from Chad. Cody threw some bars, some jabs about Shorty G.
Hey, they hit Chad with the "You Suck" chant. They already gave him that.
I loved it. He came out of the "You suck, you suck," but what? The tempo is a little bit different because Kurt Angle, you suck, you suck, you suck. Chad Gable's like, you suck, you suck, you suck. It's faster because the theme song
Yeah.
doesn't jive with it.
So they have to. They see what the fans are trying to do, and I do believe that Chad is worthy of the mantle, and he's worthy of that monster technical wrestler that Kurt was. I watched Kurt Angle's entrance when he was the world heavyweight champion, and they had the circle, the over the ring, the circle pyro.
Yeah.
I don't know how many more people whose regular pyro I liked more than Kurt Angle's regular pyro. His regular pyro was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. It started up there, and then when he got to the ring, he's spinning around in a circle like Michaels used to do. It's Kurt spinning, and then the entire ceiling is going crazy with his fireworks, and he just looks like a monster. He's coming out, his slinglets down. He's got the belt on. He's got his gold medal around his neck. Kurt was it.
Kurt was fucking it, bro. In fact, let me show y'all. Y'all can see right there, right there. Let me point to it. There he is. Yes, sir. Man. Yeah.
Kurt Angle was it, and I think that that if you can give Chad Gable, the Kurt Angle treatment, which I think was kind of what they're trying to do, is like build him as the heel, like they did with Kurt. They already tried the funny part, but I think he took it too far. You know what I mean? And I think that he didn't like that either. And that's one of the reasons why they broke up Alpha Academy, is because the comedy part it wasn't really hitting anymore. You know what I mean? And I think that he should be able to do something, but they need to tweak his music and the American Made's music, and they need to, his American Made version of Team Angle needs to they need to do a little bit more like character work too, because they're just playing two idiots. You know what I mean? And they're better than that too.
And their names, Brutus. Like, how am I supposed to take you seriously, bro? Your name is Brutus. Like, are you Brutus the Barber Beefcake? I mean, where's your clippers?
I think that they need a little bit of character work, and I think that he just needs to put on a banger of a match.
He did. He did.
And
yeah,
it was a great match. It was a great match. But I meant at like a pay-per-view.
What I think, again, because you and I talked about, how I feel. I think Chad Gable, like you said, is Kurt Angle's successor, right? I also think if Chad Gable wants to be world champion, he has to win a singles title, like Jey Uso did in Raw.
I think he needs to go after the United States Championship.
Thank you, my friend. There we go. I was on. Thank you.
Bump LA Knight to the main event scene and give him a United States Championship run. And there's no offense to Shinsuke, but Shinsuke also needs to be back in the world title picture, especially after he's looking really good right now, and he's only been back for one match.
The problem is, I don't think they're
You
ever
know,
going to let
if he
Shinsuke
can,
become world champ for whatever reason. He should have been world champ during Seth's
he's
reign.
not. Yeah,
I
yeah. I don't know
want
why he didn't win that. Like when
I
he won
want
the
him
Royal
to be
Rumble,
world
that's when he
champion.
should have been the
Let me be clear.
champion.
I want Shinsuke to win the world title. I just don't know why they won't let him have it. So, you know,
And I think it's probably got a lot to do with the fact that like they don't really like having Japanese champions in WWE.
very, very possible. Very possible. I
And it's
mean,
mostly because, and now here's the thing though, we have a chance though because Io was able to do it, and but it's
Asuka,
Io's reign. Yeah, Asuka and Io, you know, but I think Asuka and Io have a different appeal than Shinsuke, and that's why they wouldn't mind them becoming the champion. I think that as far as the men's champion goes, they have to do a lot more talking than the women's
yeah,
champion.
the difference, and I mean, say whatever you want. I mean, I'm not sexist, but the difference between the men and the women is that the men are are the flag bearers of the WWE. You know, WWE has made leaps and strides in obviously progressing women's wrestling. We have a lot better competent athletes now, as opposed to just being divas. But when it comes down to it, who's the face of the WWE?
Cody Rhodes,
Exactly. And after Cody, Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns, yeah, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. I mean, you can go through a list of guys who have been the face. Seth Rollins, AJ Styles,
Correct.
Brock Lesnar,
Correct.
The Rock, Bobby Lashley, Big E. Like these are Kofi. You know, Kofi was the face of WWE for a while. You got to remember Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, same guy. Edge, even Kane and The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Triple H. You know, we can do this list for probably a good 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Brett Sean, you know, these are Kurt, Chris, you know, these are Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio. Like you're talking about the flagship, CM Punk, you know, these are flagship characters. John Cena still is doing John Cena, you know, and the women's champions don't have the same impact. And even Becky Lynch doesn't have that impact. Even Charlotte Flair doesn't have that impact. You know, and and they're not afterthoughts. It's just that the way that it's set up for the companies to run is a sport that's consumed by 85% males.
Yeah.
And you know, and 80 you might say, well, don't you want to look at women? Well, that didn't really work out so well in the Attitude Era. And so it's not something that people want to replicate. You know what I mean? Like we don't want to see models wasting time on our TV. We want to see our favorite wrestlers wrestling.
100%. No, that's exactly it. So, yeah, I mean, back to the U.S. title. I mean, if Chad Gable wins the U.S. title and then Shinsuke and LA Knight get elevated back to the main event scene, I think LA Knight's probably next in line um, to actually take the belt. I don't know if he's going to take it from Cody or if he's going to take it, Cody's probably staying face, I'm assuming. So they're going to have to figure out, unless Cody turns heel. Um, but I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting because you can't have two faces work a WrestleMania match between like Cody and Roman. I mean, you did have Cena and Rock, two faces kind of do that, that megastar kind of thing. But I don't know. We'll see. So, yeah, no, I think Chad Gable should definitely win the U.S. title. Shinsuke looks great with the new character. Solo came out with the bloodline. They interrupted the whole U.S. title kind of segment, saying I'm tired of people not taking me seriously. Him and Jacob Fatu and Tonga Loa, no, Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu attacked.
That's Solo putting himself in the title picture.
Exactly. So Solo is basically saying like, you got to put me in the top picture and take me
Oh my
seriously.
goodness, we talked about this last week. Are we going to have another elimination chamber for another mid card title?
Yeah, it might be.
It's starting to look like that, isn't it? Like, look at what's going on.
Yeah, very, very possible. Very
Look at
possible.
everybody that's in the mix for the U.S. title. You have El Idolo coming out. You have Solo. You have LA Knight and Shinsuke. If you really only need two more guys, who else would you throw in that match?
Chad,
Because I think Cody's going to be busy at Elimination Chamber with a title match.
Chad, Chad,
Chad,
Yeah, Chad.
Chad, and maybe one of the Street Profits.
Montez.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or even
Montez and
Rey
Chad.
Mysterio will go for that title again. They're on
We
Raw
don't, we
now,
don't,
so
no, we don't need, I don't want Ray again, dude. Come on. I mean,
we don't need it.
yeah. Ray is fucking 40 years old. I mean, why would anyone want a 40-year-old champion at this point in his career? I mean, he's a high flying. Ray isn't like a 40-year-old icon like Undertaker or Michaels. Ray is a high flyer who can't jump as fast, who can't jump as high, who can't run as fast. I saw him on SmackDown last year. He's fast, but he's not 28-year-old Rey Mysterio debuting on SummerSlam against Kurt Angle fast. you know, like it's not
And
the same.
he's like he's under 5'5", isn't he?
I mean, the height doesn't matter. It's the speed. That's what Rey Mysterio is. Athleticism, right? The dynamicism. That's what we did, and it's not there anymore. So no, he's not 40. He's 50. I'm so sorry. Gosh. Wow.
Yeah,
That's
Ray's
fine.
50.
Yeah. Oh my God. Time's flying, bro.
You got to think Dominic's in his mid-20s.
Dominic is 27. Yeah. Shit. Yeah. No, anyways. So to the point, yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to US title match. Obviously, Kevin Owens had a nice segment with Michael Cole. KO obviously saying to Michael Cole that Cody was the one who betrayed his friends, and then Michael Cole said, "KO, you're being selfish," and then Michael said, "KO, you're the problem." KO, I'm the problem. I'm the problem. Then he kind of had to lash out. And they told Michael to leave the car. Pretty good actually. I really like it. It gives me, like you said last week about the Attitude Era coming back. It gave me the Attitude Era-esque feel of like blowing that lines between reality and fiction. KO not doing this promo in the arena. KO telling Michael Cole to come to his car. That was pretty cool. So, yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to Cody versus KO this Saturday as a Saturday night main event.
Yeah,
Obviously, Cody's gonna
I think
win.
it's going to be good. I'm not too sure about some of the other matches, but I know it's going to be a lot of nostalgia bait, and that's going to be this weekend, and I'm going to watch it, and it's going to be great.
That's how it is. This is gonna be a fun weekend. We got Thursday night football, Niners, Rams. Something's going on Friday night. I don't know what's Friday night, and then go out, do whatever you want to do. Listen to Shabuzi, a bar song. Everybody in the bar gets it, and then Saturday night main event. Ooh, and then Sunday NFL football.
Yep, it's going to be a long, fun week.
It's gonna be a long, fun week. All right, my brother. We're all going to be starting pretty soon, so I mean, we could probably end it here. Any last thoughts for this episode before we wrap it up today?
No, I think we covered it all this time.
We did. All right, y'all. Thank you all for tuning in. Once again, if you didn't see the post, 1,000 likes. Thank you all. 1,000 likes. Thank you all over 133 subscribers. Thank you all for over 500 shares. Thank you all almost 60,000 views. We're gonna keep doing this, baby. But keep tuning in. Keep spreading the word. Keep helping us grow. Keep doing y'all thing, baby. All right. Thank you all for tuning in to DDOG. Follow us at DDOG Podcast on Twitter. Follow Cortez Branch at Facebook. Cortez Branch at Soul Reaper 24. Links are in the bio. Follow us on Spotify. Follow us on Pocket Cast, wherever you get your podcasts, if not YouTube. And I'm your host, Oscar Lee, and we are signing out, y'all. We'll see you next week. Peace.